Hello everyone, I have become a geologic storyteller for a day, here to tell of the Northridge Earthquake of 1994. It all started on January 17th, on an early Monday morning in Southern California when most people were still asleep. But not for long. Seemingly out of nowhere, the Northridge Fault ruptured, generating a magnitude 6.7 earthquake that woke even the deepest of sleepers. The shaking lasted from 10 to 20 seconds, killed 57 people, injured over 9,000 people, and caused over $20 billion in damages. But how did we get this far? Let's rewind. The Northridge Fault is a thrust fault resulting from a bend in the San Andreas Fault. As the more northern plate slid beneath the southern plate, the rocks where the two plates met remained locked together due to the frictional forces between the rocks. However, on that fateful morning, the force of motion overpowered the frictional force, turning the stored potential energy into kinetic energy and generating an earthquake that was felt from as far away as Las Vegas. This earthquake is one for the history books, not because of its relatively underwhelming magnitude, but because of the massive amount of damage that ensued. Why did this earthquake do so much damage? The plates on either side of the Northridge Fault are converging at an annual rate of 7 millimeters per year. Which may not seem like much, but it is much faster than the smaller individual faults in the area, allowing more stress to accumulate in this fault and releasing more energy when the fault ruptured. Also, the ground material of the San Fernando Valley where Northridge is situated, and of the neighboring LA County is mainly alluvial, a material that increases the intensity of shaking of an earthquake. Shown here is a modified Mercalli intensity map and corresponding scale, which describes the superficial intensity of shaking based on the substrate composition. According to this map, few structures outside of the San Fernando Valley would have been damaged, though even in LA County the shaking was severe. It is this intensity of shaking that caused underground water pipe and gas line breakages. And as if the initial 6.7 magnitude earthquake wasn't enough, it was followed by a magnitude 6.0 aftershock not 1 minute later, possibly caused by the rupture of the adjoining Sierra Madre faults. The table shown here is of the number and sizes of the aftershocks felt in the region over that day and the following few days. As one can see, the magnitudes are mainly in the upper 3s to lower 4s, though with a couple in the 5s as well. In this table, the 6.0 that immediately followed is considered to be a separate earthquake rather than an aftershock. Now, in the beginning I mentioned that the earthquake happened seemingly out of nowhere, and this is where we come to the debatable topic of earthquake prediction. This earthquake occurred 21 days after the predicted 18-month window for a magnitude 6.6 or higher earthquake in that area. Also, there were two seismicity clusters, which are groupings of earthquakes of similar type or magnitude that preceded the main earthquake. So even if we did see this earthquake coming, what could anyone have done about it? And what can we do to prepare for future earthquakes? Earthquakes mainly damage structures. Some people may be hurt by collapses, but much of the damage is related more to the aftermath. In 1906, San Francisco was hit by a magnitude 7.9 earthquake, which is significant, but the fire that followed was what razed a quarter of the city to the ground. After our earthquake in Northridge, 110 fires ensued due to gas line ruptures. And not only that, but over 1,400 water main pipes ruptured, drastically hindering the firefighters' efforts to quench the flames. Another byproduct of the earthquake were the 151,000 gas outages, which left people without hot water or a functional stove until repairs could be made. An 18-month window won't prepare you for the shock of an earthquake, but it might just spur you into the action of assembling an earthquake kit. An earthquake kit should be comprised of canned food, water, flashlights, blankets, a battery-operated radio, and cash. Other items are up to a person's need or desire. You should also prearrange a way for yourself and your family to check in with someone out of town to make sure that everyone is alright. Landline phones will often work even if cell towers are down. Turn off your gas lines to prevent fires, hunker down, and stay safe. The end.